Let's get one thing clear right now. Success doesn't come from comfort. Legacy isn't built in one city, one club, or one jersey. It's earned again and again and again. On different battlefields, under different lights, against different odds. Every time the world thinks it has you figured out, you rewrite the script. Every time the critics whisper, you roar. Because legends don't repeat their past, they reinvent their future. They don't rely on what they did. They prove what they can still do. This isn't about football anymore. This is about obsession, about pushing limits in every chapter of your life, about walking into a new arena surrounded by doubt, and still rising to the top. Again, let me take you inside the mentality. Not the goals, not the trophies, not the headlines, but the mindset behind the domination. It's how a true competitor reinvents himself in every club and never loses. Success must be conquered repeatedly. Success is never a one-time event. It is not a destination you reach and then rest. It's not a medal you wear for life after one performance. Success is a process, a fight, a mindset that must be renewed every single day. The moment you think you've made it, you start losing it. The real champions know this. They understand that yesterday's glory can't win today's battles. Battles are every goal, every trophy, every record. It all becomes history the moment it's achieved. And while the world celebrates that moment, the great ones are already preparing for the next. That's the difference. That's the mindset that separates legends from the rest. Success, when viewed through this lens, becomes a journey of constant proving, constant pushing, constant rising. You can't live off one achievement. You have to keep earning your respect, your status, and your influence over and over again. This mindset changes everything, often. It changes how you train, how you think, how you carry yourself. When you know success must be conquered repeatedly, you don't get lazy after a big win. You don't celebrate too long. You don't waste time soaking in applause. Because you know, deep down, that the next level is already calling. Success has no memory. It doesn't care what you did last season. It doesn't care about your highlights. It cares about what you're doing now. That's why staying hungry is non-negotiable. That's why you see the greatest performers in the world never satisfied. They win, and then they want to win again. Not because they're greedy, but because they know the truth. Once you stop chasing it, it starts fading away. When you enter a new club, a new league, a new environment, no one cares what you've done before. Fans might remember, but the pressure is fresh, the eyes are sharp, the critics are louder. The expectations are heavier. In those moments, your past doesn't protect you. Your reputation doesn't shield you. The only thing that matters is if you can do it again. And again. And again. And again. People think greatness is about one iconic moment. But the truth is, greatness is the consistency of reinvention, the commitment to dominate every stage, the refusal to let past victories become your limit. You never stay still at the top. You either rise higher, or you start falling. Each challenge demands a new version of you. You cannot fight every battle with the same weapons. What worked yesterday may not work today. That's the truth most people ignore. They get comfortable with what they know, and they expect the same strategies to bring new results. But the world doesn't stand still. The game evolves. The opponents change. The environment shifts. And if you don't adapt, you become outdated fast. Each challenge in life, just like each club or team, demands a new level of growth. A new mentality, a new edge. You can't be the same player in every place. You have to evolve. You have to study, learn, and adjust. You have to identify what's needed and become. At one club, maybe you're the explosive young talent, full of energy, raw and fearless. You rely on your speed, your hunger, your instinct. That version of you is needed in that moment. But as you move forward, the game slows down. The defenders are smarter. The space is tighter. The expectations grow. Now you need intelligence, composure, vision. You must become more than fast. You must become clever. Later, when you step into a club with giants, where the spotlight is brighter and the pressure is relentless, you can't just play with passion. You must lead. You must inspire. You must handle the weight of responsibility and still deliver. That demands maturity. That demands a deeper version of you. A version that doesn't fold, doesn't react emotionally, but stays focused and performs under fire. Every challenge shapes you. Every challenge reveals who you are and who you need to become. That's why staying the same is not an option. The same game, the same habits, the same routines won't take you to new heights. If you truly want to conquer every place you step into, you must be willing to reinvent yourself without fear. But reinvention's not about changing who you are at the core. It's about expanding who you are. It's about adding new tools, building new strengths, removing old limits. It's about understanding that greatness isn't rigid. It's flexible. The truly elite athletes, performers, and leaders know this. All mass and leaders know this. They're like water. They adapt, they flow, and they fit into any environment without losing their essence. That takes courage, because reinvention means letting go of comfort. It means stepping into the unknown, admitting you don't have all the answers, and building yourself from scratch again. It's humbling, but it's necessary. When you enter a new challenge, you're not just competing with others, you're competing with your old self. You're battling the version of you that was good enough before, but not enough now. And if you're not growing, you're staying behind. That's the rule. That's the code. Reinvention is the ultimate discipline. It's the reason why some players dominate everywhere they go, because they never bring yesterday's tools to tomorrow's fight. Talent opens doors. Reinvention keeps them open. In the beginning, talent is what gets people to notice you. It's what makes the world stop and say, there's something special here. It's the spark, the raw potential, the natural gift that sets you apart from the crowd. But talent alone is not enough. Talent might get you the opportunity, but it won't keep you there. It's the foundation, not the finish line. The real work begins after the door opens, because once you're inside, the expectations change. The competition gets stronger, the pressure increases, and the spotlight gets hotter. The world is full of talented people who never lost it. People who showed brilliance early but disappeared because they relied too much on their gift and didn't evolve. They thought talent was enough. They thought what worked in the past would carry them forever. But the truth is harsh. Talent fades when it isn't sharpened. It grows dull when it isn't tested, and it becomes irrelevant when it isn't reinvented. To stay at the top, to survive in new clubs, new leagues, new systems, you need more than just ability. You need to become a student of the game again. You need to adapt your style, your position, your mindset. You need to add new layers to your skill set. What made you great yesterday might make you predictable today. That's why reinvention isn't a choice, it's a responsibility. There comes a time when raw speed declines, when youthful energy is lost, when the body doesn't recover like it used to. That's when reinvention becomes your greatest weapon. You can't sprint past defenders forever, but you can learn to read the game faster. You can't jump higher than everyone forever, but you can be in the right place before anyone. Reinvention is about replacing fading traits with refined ones. It's about shifting your strengths, about becoming smarter, sharper, more complete. In a new club, the system might demand a different role. Maybe you're no longer the finisher, they want you to be the creator. Maybe you're not the main star. You're expected to lead by example, lift others, and guide the team from behind the scenes. Reinvention means embracing that shift. It means learning new tactics, understanding new philosophies, and still finding a way to shine. Still finding a way to impact games. Talent gives you a platform. Reinvention gives you the legacy. Because anyone can rise once, but not everyone can rise again and again in different cities, under different managers, with different teammates, and still dominate. That's the mark of someone who understands the deeper game. That's the mindset of someone who refuses to stay in one form forever. When you reinvent yourself, you stay ahead of the curve. While others are reacting, you're adapting. While others are stuck in their habits, you're building new ones. Reinvention is the reason why greatness becomes timeless. Because it's always evolving, always finding a new way to win. Comfort is the enemy of greatness. The moment comfort enters, hunger fades. And when hunger fades, performance drops. Comfort is the silent killer of champions. It sneaks in when things are going well, when the trophies are stacking up, when the praise is loud, when the bank account is full, and the world is clapping. That's when comfort whispers, you've done enough. And if you listen to it, you stop growing. True greatness requires discomfort. True greatness requires. It lives in the zone where you're always stretching, always pushing, always questioning if you've truly given your best. It doesn't settle for a good enough. It doesn't care about what others think. It only asks, what's next? That's the difference between those who reach the top ones and those who stay there. Comfort makes you soft. It tells you to skip training, to take it easy, to relax because you've already made it. But the great ones, the truly relentless ones, they reject comfort like poison. They train like they've never won anything. They prepare like they're still fighting for a place. Because in their mind, the battle is never over. The next game, the next performance, the next goal, that's all that matters. Every time you switch clubs, you face new challenges, new coaches, new teammates, new systems. You might not be the favorite anymore. You might not have the same freedom. That's when comfort becomes dangerous. Because if you're holding on to the past, if you're too attached to how things were, you won't survive how things are. Greatness demands a fire that never goes out, and that fire only burns when you stay uncomfortable, when you keep raising the bar, not because you're told to, but because you demand it from yourself. Comfort says you've done it all. Greatness says you haven't done enough. That's why the elite train with urgency. That's why they treat every game like a final, because they know that comfort is the beginning of decline. It takes discipline to stay uncomfortable when everything around you tells you to relax, when you've already proven yourself, when people already call you a legend. But that's where the inner voice kicks in, the one that doesn't care about applause, the one that says, let's go again. Oughta go again. Leaving your comfort zone isn't just about switching clubs or cities, it's about the mindset you carry with you. Are you still chasing something? Are you still willing to be a student, to be coached, to be challenged? If the answer is yes, then you're still alive in the game. If the answer is no, then you're already fading. Comfort is easy. Growth is hard. That's why most people stop. That's why most never go all the way. Because it's not just physical, it's emotional, mental, spiritual. It's waking up with urgency. It's grinding when no one's watching. It's choosing the hard path every time. Pressure creates champions, not excuses. Pressure is not the enemy. It's the proving ground. It's the way that either crushes you or forges you. Most people run from pressure. They hide, they make excuses, they point fingers. But the ones who rise, the ones who become champions, they walk into pressure like it's their home. They breathe it in. They smile in it. Because they understand something most don't. Pressure is a privilege. Pressure means people expect something from you. It means the stage is big, the stakes are high, and your name is on the line. That's not something to fear. That's something to embrace. Because champions aren't made in easy games. They're not born in quiet moments. They're revealed when everything is on the line and there's nowhere to hide. When the spotlight is blinding and the noise is deafening, that's when true greatness steps forward. You can't fake it under pressure. Your character shows. Your preparation shows. Your mindset is exposed. Pressure doesn't care about talk, it demands action. And the ones who are ready, the ones who live for the big moments, they see pressure as opportunity. Not a threat, not a burden, but a moment to stamp their legacy. In football, pressure lives in every transfer, every debut, every big match. When you move to a new club, the pressure isn't just to perform, it's to lead, to deliver instantly, to prove your worth, the trust, the money, the hype. You're expected to turn a result, leave the dressing room, inspire a crowd. The cameras follow you. The critics watch you. And millions expect you to show up no matter what. And that's exactly what separates the best from the rest. Pressure builds champions because it forces you to raise your level. You can't afford to slack. You can't afford to slack. Every moment matters. Every touch, every run, every decision is judged. That kind of intensity either breaks you or it brings out the best in you. It's easy to perform when there's nothing on the line. But when the whole world is watching, when failure is one mistake away, that's when your discipline, your mentality, your preparation must be bulletproof. You must be stronger than doubt, louder than fear, sharper than nerves. Excuses are language of those who crumble. Champions don't speak that language. They don't blame the pitch, the weather, the manager, the system. They take responsibility. They step up. They own the moment, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Pressure is the price of ambition. If you want to be great, you have to welcome the wait. You have to crave the decisive moments. You have to want the final kick, the last header, the penalty in extra time. Because that's where legends are made. Not in safe zones, but in pressure cookers. In the moments that either define you or expose you. Legacy is built through silence and sacrifice. True legacy is not built in front of cameras. It's not about social media posts or flashy moments. It's built in silence, in the unseen grind, in the decisions that no one claps for. Legacy is shaped in the discipline behind closed doors, in the pain you embrace when no one is watching, in the early mornings, the lonely sessions, sacrifices that cost you everything and give you everything. People see the glory, the records, the goals, but they don't see the price. The dinners missed, the holidays skipped, the nights spent studying, training, recovering. They don't feel the toll it takes on your body, your mind, your relationships. That's the part of legacy no one talks about. The quiet part. Quiet, the hard part. The part that separates professionals from icons. Sacrifice is the foundation of everything. You can't give 50% and expect 100% results. You can't live a normal life and expect extraordinary outcomes. Legacy demands a level of focus that feels extreme. It demands saying no to distractions, no to comfort, no to shortcuts. It demands choosing discipline over fun, choosing purpose over pleasure, choosing obsession over convenience. Silence is your best friend when you're building something eternal. Because while the world is noisy, while others are talking, celebrating, partying, you're working. You're studying film while others are scrolling files. You're training after training while others are relaxing. You're recovering when others are wasting time. That's how greatness is built, in quiet routines that compound over time. When you move from one club to another, you leave behind comfort, familiarity, and rhythm. You have to build trust all over again. You have to adapt your diet, your sleep, your style. You might not know the language, the culture, the expectations, and yet you do what's necessary. You sacrifice your old habits. You surrender your ego, because legacy doesn't care how hard it is. It only cares that you do it. Legacy is built by those who suffer with a smile, who bleed without showing pain, who train when no one's looking. Because they understand something simple. Trophies fade, records fall, but the work lives forever. The way you did it, the way you carried yourself, the standards you refuse to lower, that's what people remember. That's what becomes your story. And the story matters. And because at the end of the journey, the medals collect dust, but the respect you earn, that's eternal, that's legacy. But it starts in silence. In those cold mornings when your alarm rings and you get up anyway. In those hard choices when you could take it easy but you choose the hard way. Every sacrifice you make, every distraction you ignore, every hour you put in when no one cares. It all builds something no one can take from you. Legacy isn't loud. It's not always glamorous. It's not always appreciated in the moment. But it's the quiet power that outlasts trends, applause, and even time. Adaptations is the secret weapon. In the world of elite competition, the greatest strength is not just power, speed, or skill. It's adaptability. Those who survive are not always the most talented, but the most adaptable. The ones who can adjust their game, shift their mindset, reshape their habits, and transform their identity without losing their core. That's the real weapon. That's what makes a legend unbreakable. Every environment has its own rhythm. Every team has its own pulse. Every league brings a new level of intensity, a new style of play, a new set of expectations. If you step into a new system and try to play the old way, you fall behind. What worked in one club might not work in another. What brought you goals before might bring you silence now. That's where adaptability steps in, not as a response to failure, but as a mindset of evolution. It's the ability to read the game, to read the locker room, to read the energy of the fans, and to know what's needed. It's knowing when to change your position, when to drop deeper, when to be the leader, when to be the worker. It's understanding that you're not there to be comfortable. You're there to conquer, and conquering requires adjustment. Adaptation doesn't mean losing yourself. It means refining yourself. You stay true to your hunger, your discipline, your drive, but you're flexible in how you express them. One day you're the finisher, the next day the creator. Sometimes you lead with your voice, other times with your actions. Sometimes the goals are easy, other times you dig them out of nothing. That's what the great ones do. They mold their greatness to the moment. This game is unforgiving to those who stay still. The pace gets faster, the tactics get smarter, the defenders get tougher. And if you don't evolve, they figure you out. They study you. They cut your angles. They read your movements. But when you adapt, when you change the rules before they do, you stay untouchable. Injury, age, changing teammates, a different coach. These are not setbacks. They are opportunities. They push you to unlock new dimensions, to find new gears, to dig deeper into your craft. This is why some athletes never fade, because every challenge becomes for transformation. Adaptability also extends beyond the pitch. It's how you fit into a new culture, how you connect with the fans, how you understand club's values. You don't walk in with entitlement. You walk in with awareness. You learn. You listen, you absorb, and then you deliver. You become what that team needs without losing what makes you unique. This is what makes some players dominate in every country, every stadium, every competition. Because they don't resist change, they master it. They treat every challenge as a new language to speak, and so speak them all fluently. Adaptation is not weakness. It's not compromise. It's the highest level of intelligence. It's survival mixed with ambition. And when you carry it with confidence, no system, no opponent, no environment can shut you down. Every club is a new battlefield. No matter how many trophies you've lifted, no matter how many records you've broken, the moment you enter a new club, everything resets. You're back on the front line. You start from zero. New faces, new expectations, new standards. Every club is a fresh war, a new mission. A battlefield where the past doesn't protect you and only your present performance speaks. The jersey might be different, the badge might change, but the pressure doesn't. In fact, it multiplies. Because now people don't just want you to succeed, they expect you to. And not just once, but immediately. That's the cost of greatness. You have to deliver on demand regardless of the terrain. You step into the locker room with a name, yes, but names don't win games. What you did at your last club is just a story. What matters now is what you do here. Can you lead again? Can you inspire again? Can you fight again? The battle is always present, and every club has its own war to win. The league changes, the culture shifts, the media surrounds you. Some places demand flair, others demand grit. Some want grit, some want goals, others want leadership. You must read the room, you must adjust your armor, you must understand the terrain and prepare accordingly. Some fans will love you, others will doubt you, others will doubt you, but all of them are watching. They want to know if you're really about it. If your greatness travels with you. If you're just a name or a warrior, that's the test, the fire every elite athlete has to walk through. You don't get to rest on legacy. Every game, every training session, every interview becomes another chapter. And if you don't bring your full self, mentally, physically, emotionally, you get exposed. There is no mercy in a new battlefield, only performance. You might walk into a team where the system is foreign, the tempo unfamiliar. You might not be the main man anymore, but you still have to rise. You still have to impact games. You still have to win respect, not by talking, but by proving. This battlefield is more than football. It's mental warfare. Every doubt, every comment, every comparison, they try to break you, but the true greats feed off it. ID. They use the battlefield to sharpen their instincts, their focus, their hunger. They don't flinch. They don't retreat. They embrace the noise and let their boots do the talking. When you join a new club, you're not just playing matches, you're rewriting your story. You're adding a new chapter, and it better be worthy. Because history remembers how you entered, how you performed, how you walked out. Some people chase comfort. They want to stay where they're loved, where they're understood, but the elite chase challenge. They seek new battlegrounds to prove they can still win, still dominate, still silence the critics. Every club, every city, every stadium is a test of character. Are you willing to fight for it all over again? Are you willing to risk failure in order to rise higher? Are you ready to defend your name in a new war with new weapons? That's the mentality. That's the reason why greatness echoes across generations. Because it wasn't built in one place, it was built everywhere, on every battlefield, in every fight. Consistency is the loudest statement. In a world obsessed with highlights and viral moments, it's easy to forget what really separates the elite from the ordinary. It's not just talent, it's not just passion, it's consistency. The quiet, relentless, unshakable consistency. The ability to show up every single day, not just when it's easy or when you feel like it, but especially when you don't. That's what turns a player into a machine. That's what builds fear in the eyes of opponents. Not the occasional brilliance, but the guaranteed pressure, week in, week out. Consistency means you never switch off. You never drop the standard. You train the same after a hat trick as you do after a drought. You recover the same way after winning the title as you do after losing a final. You treat the routine like a religion, because you know that routine is what keeps the fire alive. While others chase moments, you build a fortress. One habit, one rep, one disciplined hour at a time. This game is ruthless to those who are inconsistent. You might shine for one season, maybe two, but if you can't repeat it, if you can't maintain the same fire, the same sharpness, the same hunger, it all fades. Records are broken. Medals are forgotten. But the ones who were always there, Scoring, leading, pressing, lifting. That's the legacy that sticks. When you move from club to club, from league to league, consistency becomes your currency. It's how people know you're real. It's how your name carries weight. You don't need to talk. You let your numbers, your attitude, your work rate speak. Every coach knows what they'll get. Every teammate knows what to expect. Every opponent knows what's coming. That's the power of consistency. It doesn't shout, but it dominates. It's showing up when your body is tired, when the headlines are negative, when the crowd is against you. It's delivering when your role changes, when you're playing out of position, when you're under pressure. You don't drop your head. You don't lose your edge. You stay locked in. It's easy to be motivated at the start of something new, but consistency means staying motivated when the hype dies, when no one's clapping, when it's just you and the grind. It's knowing that the game doesn't reward the occasion. The relentless. Consistency also creates trust. Teams win when they trust. And you can only be trusted if you're dependable. If you do the work every time. If you hit the gym, if you study the game, if you never cheat the process. That's how legends are built, not by doing it once, but by doing it forever. It's not glamorous, it's not always celebrated, but it's the most powerful statement you can make to keep showing up, to keep delivering, to keep winning your battles, one after another, year after year. Across clubs, countries, systems, that's the mark of someone who doesn't play for applause, they play for impact. Evolution is the only way to stay immortal. If you want to last in this game, not just exist but dominate, you can't stay the same. You can't hold on to what made you great once and expect it to work forever, because time is always moving, opponents are always evolving. Systems are always changing. The game will move on without you, unless you evolve with it. That's the hard truth. You can be the top scorer one year, the golden boy, the headline. But if you don't evolve, if you don't adapt your style, sharpen your tools, expand your mindset, someone younger, faster, hungrier is coming for your place. That's the nature of greatness. It has to keep proving itself. Over and over again, in new ways, in new roles, with new weapons. Evolution means letting go of comfort. It means being brave enough to admit that what used to work might not work anymore. It means studying yourself. It means changing your diet, your movement, your training load. It means learning new tactics, understanding new systems, accepting new challenges. It's not a one-time decision, it's a constant mindset. You can't stay a sprinter forever. You can't always rely on pace, power, or explosiveness. As the body changes, the mind has to take over. Positioning becomes sharper. Movement becomes smarter. You start scoring with one touch instead of five. Bam. You start assisting instead of just finishing. You become more complete. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. This is what separates a great season from a great career. Anyone can catch fire for a few. But to stay relevant across decades, to keep rising in new teams, new leagues, under new managers, you have to evolve. You have to study the game like a beginner, even when you're a legend. You have to humble yourself, even when you've achieved everything. Evolution also requires sacrifice. You might have to give up roles you once loved. You might not be the focal point anymore. Maybe now you're the mentor, the guide, the leader who leads the younger ones. But evolution means embracing that shift, finding pride in new roles, still impacting the game, but in ways others don't see. That's real greatness. It's not about the spotlight, it's about influence. Every stage of a career has its own demands. Early on, it's about proving. Later, about sustaining. Eventually, it's about teaching, guiding, building. And through all those stages, the one constant is change. It's change. The willingness to grow, to adjust, to keep pushing forward when most would settle. Immortality in sport isn't about being remembered for one moment. It's about being remembered in every era, as someone who kept changing, kept winning, kept setting the bar. Evolution is what allows your name to live on. Not just for what you did, but for how long and how well you did it. The ones who stay immortal are the ones who never stop evolving. They never stop learning, never stop training like they're still hungry, never stop looking for it. That's what makes them untouchable, not just for a season, but for a lifetime. You've got one career, one legacy. Make sure it echoes in every chapter. This is Motivate with 7, and we don't just play the game, we change it.